Hey everyone, do you know what this channel needs right now? Is it more vanilla builds? Is it more medieval? Or is it simply just more awesome builds to explore inside of this world? Now, well, I'm not very good at two of those things, so in this video, I'm going to focus on what I do best, and that is building new and interesting locations all on the map, starting with an entirely new town called Rivers Bend. Now, that might be hitting the nail on the head here, and you'll see in a little bit, but it perfectly fits with the surrounding area, and I'm really excited to show you what's in store. So, without further ado, I want to show you the time lapse and then this awesome build, so let's get into that right now. Now, this new town is going to be a good bit different than the last few builds that I've really been working on. Now, before this, I focused on areas that have very little wealth or ones that are more rural and simple, but the town of Rivers Bend is a completely different story. Now, to understand this town is to understand that I myself personally am pushing past my limits and working on a style and atmosphere that I haven't really adventured into, or at least not to a great deal. Now, the town of Rivers Bend is a wealthy area inhabited by prior noble families, allies to the Varisian Empire or Aeslung, and those who have found wealthy treasures along their journey and decided to cash them in, set themselves up for the rest of their lives. Now, there are no simple farmers or peasants who live in this town. There are only those with disposable income who rely on their workers' labors to provide an ever-flowing source of funds to line their own pockets. Now, the architecture of this town is not common in rural areas, but it does boast clean Tudor builds and plaster builds with hardy stone bases which allow the residents to remain cool in the summer and warm in the winter. You'll see with the interiors that the families own higher value items such as clocks, vintage literature, and higher grade wood furniture. The paths along the town are kept clean and organized, and there is very little clutter due to the need to keep the impressions of this town as high as possible to any wandering merchants and or current nobility. This town has a slightly more fantasy-esque theme, and I designed the buildings to be very unique and separate from my prior builds. You'll see that each house has these high, sloping roofs with multiple breaks in the roofline, making the homes less boxy and less rectangular, and allowing for a greater possibility for custom looks at different angles. I worked really hard on being able to frame this village to where no matter where you look at it from, it just looks really, really good. Now, I'm extremely excited for this town because it will provide a nice break and a new perspective on how a class system can affect certain regions and the people inside of them, especially pertaining to Elmoran. This world is very classes, and they do kind of focus more on the nobility and those with wealth compared to the poorer, peasant types that just, they're the backbone, however, they're not treated like they're really humans at all. Now, if you like this video and the content, please consider subscribing, dropping a like, and commenting below. I would love to hear your thoughts on how this came out and what you would like to see in the future. But for now, let's sit back, listen to some music, and I'll meet you again for the walkthrough. Alright everybody, so I hope you enjoyed that time lapse and everything, but here we have the beginning of the town of Rivers Bend, and as you can see here, when I was talking about framing earlier, you can see that here, I'm trying to frame it as much as possible. You can see here how the houses kind of align with the path. It brings your eye towards the center of the path, and from different angles, it really looks good. Now, if we're going to look on the journey map here, ignore this. This is a test area. However, we are right here. And this is a really cool spot because it allows the town to cut through here, go over this river here, and then cut around the other side to go into this area, which will be a whole nother spot. So that's why it's called River's Bend. It's literally built around a river. Okay, I mean, pretty straightforward. That's why I said it hits the nail on the head. But here we have the houses here, all three. Like I said, very much more of a fantasy-esque theme. I drew a lot of inspiration from The Witcher and from Kingdom Come Deliverance, and just even though that was more of a realistic setting, it really came through on this one. And just being able to tweak and kind of be a little bit more open with my architectural skills really helped come along. So what I want to do is I want to go into this house first. We're going to go up this pathway here. You can see here, Paps has already claimed this home, as you are with a community, as a community member. Once you're here long enough, you can claim a home in the world. But just look at this. We have this beautiful archway coming through the wall that goes around the entire property. And just the scale of these houses are much larger than what I usually do. So if you come around here to the left, of course, we got some firewood, basic stuff. Not too much. And like I said, I wanted to keep the clutter down because this area would be kept very nice. If you come here to the left, we have a small little garden. That's about it. That's just more for like just something to do. Like I said, a lot of these wealthier individuals do not have to work. They just kind of hang out and do like small little hobbies. What we're going to do is we're just going to go in this door, and right off the bat, you can see a big difference from how I typically build things to this. So right here, we have some scrolls, we have some books, we have a grandfather clock. We just have really nice ornate decorations. Even the supports for the beams are more ornate, and they're just higher detailed. They're higher grade quality, both craftsmanship and wood types. This is the kitchen, and I think this is probably my favorite part of this house, as well as a few others on the server. It's just, once again, it's framed. You can come in, we have this archway that is slightly drawn in at the base to kind of give it a little bit more. Instead of it's a flat wall, it kind of comes out, it looks gorgeous. And then we have this beautiful kitchen here. It's very small, but at the same time, it has everything you need. And they're not going to be doing a ton of cooking and stuff like that all the time. They will to an extent. They probably have workers who would come help them. But for the most part, the family is not going to be spending time in this kitchen. Okay, so they don't really care. But you can see we have this beautiful little fireplace here. It goes all the way up. We have the herbs, a rabbit, some pork hanging up here cooking, things like that, and a little bit of wine barrel here because you got to have your wine. But this just looks fantastic in my opinion. If you look here, we have this really cool bookcase that we framed using some oak, and then you have the small dining area. Now, yes, kind of put some belief aside perspective, like it's small and cramped, but in theory you would have room to walk around it. But yeah, and then we have these nicer ceilings here, really come out well. And what we'll do is we'll go upstairs. So you can see we just have a small little storage area, very minute. And then we're going to go up the stairs here. We have a small little study, just a little something to kind of write down thoughts, or maybe keep a diary, just something like that. Whatever wealthy families do. And then we have this beautiful little lake you can see outside. Really cool view. This whole village is all about perspective, so I'm really going out of my way to try to make it as cool as possible. Now what we'll do here is we have a small little lobby area, and then we're gonna go right here to the bedroom. Now this is a child's bedroom. You can see we have a child's bed, some games. We have a small little seat in case the parent wanted to sit down and watch them, or like the nanny. And then we just have another pillow, in case they need to have their head propped up, they have a cold. And then just, some basic stuff here to really tie it all in together. It's a very small room, but like I said, it works. And it's just detailed to the right amount, in my opinion. Really like the way it came out. And over here we have the master bedroom. And so here, of course, we have pretty much a Palantir. Okay, they're kind of scattered around the world, so there is lore to that. You'll see that later on. We have a double bed here, and then of course the nice wardrobes and things like that. And it's cool because if you look right there, there's a small little crack where the windows are. That's where the light could come through and pretty much wake them up if they're sleeping in and be like, hey, look, time to get up, got to do stuff. But this is the first house, and like I said, I really love the way that it came out. It's very detailed. very comfortable, and it just works. Now what we'll do, instead of going to this house, we're going to scooch over to this one right here. So we're going to go back down our pathway, and I'll give you the runaround on the outside, then we'll work our way towards the inside. But you can see here we have the small little angular jut outs, you know, the different roof lines. All of this stuff kind of comes together to really add a nice perspective to the build, and it just, to me, it just works. Once again, back here we have some crops growing. These are potatoes and cabbage. They work. It looks good. And we have this really cool fireplace or chimney. It's really highly detailed. We have this wall that borders the other house next to it. You can see inside the kitchen ever so slightly. And of course, firewood, the basic stuff. You know, keep the flames going, keep the house a little warm. But once again, you walk in, you have almost a foyer, and it's absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. You have the light coming through. We have a small seating area, a mirror if you want to, you know, kind of prep yourself up a little bit before you fully go into the house. But really cool stuff here. Once again, the signature archway, how it's a little coming out just a little bit, looks really good. And then this living room is just really, really nice. You can see here we have scrolls, we have you know, another like little small clock here, we have wine, we have all of this stuff, another seating area here. It just once again really pulls together. It frames really well. And then here we have the kitchen. Now this kitchen's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit nicer. And you can see here, it's just lots of small detail here. You could tell it's higher grade materials that they would keep in the kitchen. And I think it just flows really, really well. I couldn't be more happy with how this setup is. It's very unique. It's much different than what I'm used to. So I hope y'all like it too. We have the kitchen. And then if you come over here, you have the dining area. Once again, very, very fancy dining area. Like it's like very nice. Once again, natural lighting coming through. We have some wine on the shelf. I'm walking on the food. We have some bread. These candle, what are they called? Oh, but these are a great candle. But you know, the candles that have like the metal stands. I think it's called like candelabra or something like that. But these houses have that instead of just like the basic like little one light, because they can afford the metals and the you know, the gold and silver, whatever. Here we have a small little, once again, foyer area. Lots of bookcases, ladder to get to the books if you need be. And then we're going to have the bedroom. Now, this is only a one bedroom, but you can see why. It's a very nice, spacious bedroom. I mean, if you look at this, this is absolutely just gorgeous in my opinion. It's very spacious. We have bookshelves. We have dressers. You know, you can look up at the night sky with your telescope if you want to. We have lots of shelving, things like that. And of course, carpets that just really add a nice touch of color to this. So, yeah, really cool bedroom if you ask me. And then you have a window too if you wanted, I guess, you know, to creep in there and look at the neighbors. But it's more for decorative purposes only. But yeah, this is a really big bedroom. I think it's gorgeous in and of itself. Organized really well. We framed it as best as possible. And I think it's definitely a cool thing to see. Now, last but not least, we will go check out the third house. So we're going to follow the path this way, and we're going to go up. We have a small little beer area if you want to sit out and just kind of hang out, drink some in the nice cold, or the nice hot sun, because sun's not cold, I'll tell you that much. And this house, once again, let's go on the outside and work our way towards the inside. So, again, lots of different jut outs, lots of different architectural styles, weird sloping roofs that just come out really well. This is wheat and barley here. This is where this family kind of has to do a little work, but not too much. So there are like upper class, like middle upper class, and then lower upper class families here. So some do a little bit more work than others, but this is one that does a little work themselves, but mainly pays people to do it for them. Once again, you walk in, you got a foyer. I mean, that's how wealthy these homes are. They can afford the space, they can afford the insulation, they can afford all this kind of stuff. They can afford to keep it up nice and clean, but nice, beautiful foyer area. Here we are going to have kind of an open floor plan where the kitchen goes into the dining room. But you can see here, once again, big old fireplace here. We have the kitchen, and once again, it's not as nice as the last one, but it's really nice. They got their tea kettle and everything out. We have the dining room with a nice golden goblet, and then here's a nice storage area. Now, Paps helped me build this, and I think it came out really well. It's condensed. He did not have a large area to work with, but it looks really, really good. Definitely fits the theme. Works out great. Small bookcase here, and then we're going to go up the stairs just so y'all can see everything. So this is going to be a really cool layout. So once again, almost like a like another living room in a sense. Books, you know, very nice bookcases, things like that. A place to sit and read if you want to. Here we have a small study as well. Paps did this one as well and looks really good. And you can tell like the size below for the food pantry is the same exact size as this one up here, and they look totally different the way that he framed it. And it just, I couldn't be more happy with this. It just looks absolutely fantastic. And you have a beautiful view of the river, as you can see right there. And then coming around this way, you have the bedroom. So this is a 1-bedroom, but they have an infant child, and then it's a single parent here trying to provide for them. And once again, we have the cool the clothing thing. I forgot what it's called. You know, the nice view also on the street here. And then just once again, a little bit detailed. I wanted to leave all this blank because there's going to be some paintings involved. I just haven't gotten them on there just yet. Typically with that, sometimes when I load up the game, the paintings like mess up. So I didn't want to do too much with it. But you can see here, the orange is where the road's going to be. It wraps around this way. So let me give you a small little flyover. This is just the first part of the village. So this is actually, or the town, this is going to be a huge town. We have, you know, the rock walls in case the water overflows too much or the river gets too high. Everything is kind of multi-layered. Everything, like, you know, each house is higher or lower than the one. Very rarely are two going to be on the same height of the street. So it's going to be really cool once it's all said and done. It's going to be like almost like a staggering effect through the entire village. But yeah, this is it. I couldn't be more happy with it. Paps helped me a lot. Rames came in, both community members, and they gave me some great advice, some great critiques. I couldn't be more happier for them. But yeah, this is the town of Rivers Bend, and I'm really excited for y'all to see how this town progresses. I'm really excited for how it's going to come out, and yeah, I'm stoked. So, like I said before, you know, leave a comment, maybe what you'd like to see put into this village, Easter eggs, anything like that. I'm always down to try to make that work. But this is the first episode of Rivers Bend. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Legendary Report signing off. Have a good day. Happy gaming. I'll catch you again for the next one.